Hello, my name is Nicole Oman and I'm with Guided by the Omens. Today is August 10th and I'm here with your weekly guidance. This is where I look at the astrological week ahead and then pick a couple cards and give you a little advice and guidance on how to navigate it. So we are coming off of the week from Saturday of having that beautiful 8/8 Lionsgate portal. This is where we connect to ourselves and the gratitude that we already have for our lives, and then really feel into who we are becoming and what we are longing for. I had this beautiful session this week with a client of mine, and in a journal prompt that she had, it asked her to take note of what you desire. What do you really yearn or long for? And she took this to heart and she really dove deep inside of her soul, and one word popped up, and it's love. And I think we all desire love, and not just in the romantic sense. If you know anything about the work that Ryan and I do, we talk a lot about the 7 aspects of love. And I believe that these 7 aspects are genuinely the 7 needs of the human soul around love. We have agape, which is universal in God's love, where we move out of a place of judgment and we see everything for what it is, and that is love. We have Ludos, which is our dreams and desires and potential. It's that lightheartedness when you first meet someone where anything is possible in that particular relationship. We have Xenophilia, which is the love of others, the love of humanity, and the love of our community, where we feel like we really fit, where we really belong. We have Storge, which is familial love. But beyond familial, it's unconditional love. It's the way that a loving mother loves their children, no matter what they do or what they go through. The mother's love never ceases. They might not always agree with their children, but there's always unconditional love, especially when you have a good mother. I have one. Yay. We have Phileutia. Phileutia is self-love. And if we don't have that as our foundation, and we're going to be talking a lot about that this week because we're still in Leo season, Phileutia is where we love ourselves, where we have deep self-compassion. We don't self-sacrifice. We set boundaries. But we also are humble and we honor other people's opinions, but we still stand true in our own. Then we have Eros. Eros is romantic and passionate love, where we all desire that love, but that's only one out of 7 different aspects of our life, of our needs that we need to be met. But having that partnership is such a deep reflection of who we are and what we need to work on. It also allows us to create in the world. When we have the right partner, it's easy to have conception. We can literally create human beings together. And then we have pragma, and pragma is committed love. It's no matter what is coming at us, if we are committed to that project, if we are committed to our partner, if we're committed to that heartfelt purpose, that pragma is going to get us through the hard days. It's that in a good mood, show up and do the work. In a bad mood, show up and do the work. That's pragma. And all of these loves together puts us in alignment and harmony with our true purpose. So I say these right now because this week we have a very big energy coming online. On August 12th, we have the new moon, total solar eclipse in the sign of Leo. And the energy of this week is all about really honoring who we are, finding that self-worth, and maybe, just maybe, coming out of our shell, coming out of our closet, if you will, and allowing ourselves to be seen, allowing ourselves to share our wisdom, share our experience, and share maybe the beauty, the essence of who we truly are. We might just want to share love and maybe even receive it. So as I go through each one of the transits, I am going to be putting this idea of love. Where can we show up in those 7 aspects? Where can we show up in our alignment? Where can we align ourselves with greater love, compassion, and maybe even self-worth? Because we need that too. We can't leave ourselves out. Some people might be narcissistic and they think self-love is number 1. It's 1/7 of our needs. But if we have abandoned self-love, then we're also completely out of alignment. And this Leo energy is really making us check in and see what we're committed to. Are we committed to love? Are we committed to unconditional love? And are we committed to unconditional love to ourselves? Okay? So let's start with yesterday. The planet Mercury moved into the sign of Leo. So it was in Cancer for the last bit of time, and now it's moving into the sign of Leo. And ta-da, we have a lot of planets going on here. So we have the sun here, then we're going to have the moon, which is going to create this beautiful total solar eclipse. And then Jupiter is also in the sign of Leo. So we have all this energy is going, hey, self-love, self-love, self-love. And so let's check in. Let me see what I have for this. Mercury is the planet of communication. It's also the planet that rules the mind. So can we set the intention? Can we put our mind and our thoughts on more of this loving intent? And I'm going to, okay. Okay, the theme of this is the King of Wands. This is someone who is in their confidence. They have the lion behind him. This is so very Leo energy. Oh my goodness, you can't make this stuff up. And he is that, the Leo energy or the lion energy is strength. This is definitely very masculine. So it could mean potentially a man that might be helping you and serving you and mirroring your self-worth to you. But it also might be the energy of your own divine masculine that's saying, hey, be strong, hold your ground, hold your worth, hold your fire, right? Allow yourself to really stand in your value. That might mean you might have to let people and things go that doesn't serve you. Maybe we have been holding on to these ideas, especially the thoughts that are telling us that we're not good enough, that we need to people please, and it might turn into certain behaviors and patterns. And this card came in from the past position. So these are things that you have maybe in the past have taken taken some time and energy to start to release. Start to take self-responsibility where you're showing up in these negative thought patterns and maybe self-sacrificing. And it's time to let that go, because right on the horizon is something a lot better suited for you. In the present position, I have the 9 of Pentacles. Whatever you have been tending to within your own self is starting to bear fruit. You might be seeing the fruit of your labor. It might be a new job that's coming up. It might be healthier relationships, or even relationships that you've already had that have that are beginning to flourish and create a lot more support and happiness for you. Whatever this is a very happy, abundant energy. As this happens, however, in the future position, I have the 3 of Wands. We might not know how we want to take action, if you will, with some of this new abundance, some of this new confidence. So it's going to take us a little bit to really embody this newfound confidence that we may have. So Mercury in Leo is telling us the way to start to embody it is to communicate it. It might be talking about your beautiful hardship that you just moved through. You might end up seeing that reflection of self-love is starting to come to you. So communicate that. Also, you might want to look in the mirror, start talking to yourself, and start having affirmations that will strengthen the worth, okay? Tomorrow is August 11th, and we have a couple of other shifting energies here. So we have Mars, the planet Mars, moving into the sign of Cancer. So Mars is this like very fiery, take action. It could be a little combative. And it's moving in the sign of Cancer, which is a lot about nurturing and mothering, and it's connected to the moon and our intuition. So these are kind of like two interesting opposing forces. How do we take action on things? Well, right now, it's what feels nurturing for you. Well, look around your home and family. What needs tending to in this area? It also could be your mother. You might have to pay a little bit more attention to your mother, or your children, right? So they might need a little bit more of your energy. My kids just started school again today. I have a high school student. Oh my gosh. And they might need a little bit more attention, because this transition, your kids might need this some transitional time. So let's see. With that, we have Juno. Now Juno is an asteroid, and Juno is connected to what we're committed to. So you know how Venus is a lot about love and like the finer things. Well, Juno is love, but it's kind of pragmatic. It's committed. It's marriage. It's what are you in the long haul with? So with these two energies moving at the same time, and it's moving in the sign of Capricorn, Juno and Capricorn is committed love. Capricorn is all about practicality. This is about like long-term relationships. So we might be looking at, where do you want to go with the partner that you're with? Where do you want to go long-term with like finding a partner or looking at your marriage? So let's see. Oh my gosh. That's funny. All right. So I will show you what I pulled again. Y'all, in the past position, the 10 of Swords. Here we are again. What did you just let go? Because this is a huge energy of letting something go. And it's in the past. So whatever you let go of, it's just kind of funny. This is the Hangman. This is in the present position. So we're on a little bit of a holding pattern. So certain things maybe are not ripe yet. You let go of a lot of things, but you still now have to reintegrate what you've learned. So this energy is like, okay, we need to go within. Hangman isn't necessarily a negative energy. It's more like it's time for a little bit more integration. You need to see, and I love how the light is at her forehead. This is seeing how far we've come. This is seeing who we want to become. It's finding out new identities. And it's also setting our GPS to different coordinates and letting ourselves kind of know that's where we're going. And what I mean about that is setting new intentions, just like what I talked about with my client. She said, I'm yearning for love. So she has to create that coordinate of what kind of love she really wants to focus on. And what it became was self-love. Now, if that is your coordinate as self-love, then your patterns need to shift, your actions need to change, your self-talk needs to change. And that's what the Hangman is. The Hangman's like, okay, hold on. We got to reset your patterns before you move forward. Because if you go out right now, You're just going to do what you did because you haven't changed anything yet. So trust the holding pattern. Okay, where is this all coming from? So this is so funny with this Mars in Cancer, Juno in Capricorn. Capricorn's very fatherly energy. Cancer's very mother energy. It's coming from our parents. So some of this lack of self-worth might be coming from our foundation. So the mother in the theme position, the Empress or the mother, is in reverse. So we have to look at certain programs that our mothers have, right? So whatever they programmed in us was the very thing that they were probably programmed with as well. And so it's this lineage type of energy, right? And so things have been passed down, and that has become our operating system. It's our default operating system. And now we have to go into the back end of our own psyche and start defracking and decoding some of those patterns that don't feel in alignment with us. We are not a victim to these patterns when we become aware that they are running and they are not in accordance and alignment with what we actually desire. When you decide, hey, I want love, oh, but my mom programmed me with a ton of fear and a ton of guilt that I have to clear, take responsible for, that I'm holding that guilt, forgive myself, and potentially even forgive her eventually, whenever you're ready to do that. And forgiveness doesn't, see, one thing that people have a triggering thing with forgiveness. I don't see forgiveness as allowing their behavior to be okay. If you were in an abusive relationship, forgiving someone doesn't go, I'm just going to let it go. Forgiveness means that you don't hold them as your villain anymore. You let go of the victimhood and you take responsibility that you can make whatever in your past, whatever happened in your past, you can make it mean what you want to make it mean. Instead of making you the villain, it could be the very thing that fortified your strength, your resilience, and your ability to love even deeper. When we forgive, we let go of the pain and the anger and the blaming, but we don't make what they did right per se. We just let go of chaining ourselves to them and allowing it to affect us in a way that creates resentment, harm, pain, and fear. Okay? Forgiveness is freedom. In my own heart, I know this. I had to do it for myself over and over and over again. And every time we can accept what has happened for what it is, we can decide to make who we want to become our responsibility. And that is where you can really take on the strength and the beauty of what you overcame. And so this is what these energies are: letting go of the trauma, letting go of the thoughts, letting go of the lack of self-worth. And this can be such a freeing experience as we get into the new moon solar eclipse in Leo. And that is on August 12th. So it's going to be fully visible in Spain. There's one specific part in Spain, so it's going to be over there. But we're still going to feel the effects of this. So let's get a couple of cards and see what the energy is going to be like for this. Oh, we're getting a lot of cards that are like piggybacking off of the last bit of cards that I have. The first card here is the Page of Wands. This is in the past. This is inner child energy, and it's also our passion, our joy, and our expression. So we are reconnecting to this inner child energy, and here we are again. There's the mother in the upright position in the present position. So let me tell you what that means with these two cards coming together. First of all, This is very mother-daughter energy. So if you have daughters right now or have children, please pay attention to them and know that you have the power to give them better codes, better operating systems, more love, more support, more presence than, our parents could have given to us. But if you don't have children, and this can go if you have children or you don't have children, it is an opportunity to reparent your own inner child. Most of our wounding comes from the wounded child within us. In archetypical, so I have done a lot of studies around archetypical process, and there's 12 main archetypes that we all have. And two of the foundational archetypes are children. One is the innocent child. I always say this is the creative child. This is where we can imagine. This is where we create. This is where we find that joy, that innocence, right? And then we have the orphan. Now, the orphan part of the inner child is where we felt rejected, where we felt abandoned, where we felt alone. And when we have trauma, especially in our childhood, we end up having an experience where the psyche and even part of the soul gets a little fractured and it doesn't feel safe. So this fractured orphan part of ourself goes kind of off on its own and goes into survival mode. And when it goes into survival mode, what happens is it protects itself, right? And so it kind of acts on its own accord and it stops working with the rest of the psyche. This is what is called sometimes our inner demons. It's also where, if you notice, if somebody has an addiction or somebody has a great trauma somewhere, there's a part of our psyche that stops kind of maturing and we get stuck in these little immaturities of our growth. And a lot of times this happens on an emotional or spiritual level. And so we have to look at those places where that orphan child goes into self-protection mode. So if you were the pleaser and you had a lot of turmoil going on in your home and you were the one that always kept the peace. Now you have this people pleaser that anytime anybody's uncomfortable, you are trying to make everybody feel better. That's a trauma response, okay? And you could do this in many different ways. It's where we temper tantrum, where we freak out, where we get angry, where we get vindictive. These are little places, and there's nothing wrong with any of these things. Hey, it's the human experience. We all go through them. But we can look at ourselves later after that temper tantrum has ceased a little bit, and we can look and see what part of that part of our soul, that inner child, that wounded orphan, feels like it needs to react in this pattern and in this way. It doesn't know any better because it wasn't taught in that particular moment. So it is continuously just having a coping mechanism pattern that it keeps cycling into. What we can do is look into it and repattern it. We're cycling into it mentally. See what I'm saying? Woo, we're in a little bit of a pattern. If we look at it, okay, so I have the star card here. If we look at that being, what happens to that being is we self-identify with the wounded child. We go, oh, we just react. And if you're reacting, it means you're fully identified. That child has taken over you and you are now feeling exactly that way. You're reasoning out bad behavior. And you also feel entitled to feeling that way because somebody did something to you. Somebody triggered you. Somebody stole your lunch out of the work refrigerator and there is hell to pay. There's something that has triggered you that is deeper. And so when we start to go, okay, wait a minute, I totally overreacted right there. That is starting to separate ourselves of disidentifying from that voice and going, wait a minute, what part of me is reacting that way? Oh, it's the wounded child. Oh my God, I totally temper tantrumed over something really stupid. Okay, great for taking responsibility. But when you can see it as an external source, then we can start seeing that it's just a child like aspect of ourselves that needs mothering, that needs tending to, that needs care, that needs rest, that needs a boundary, whatever it needs. Because if you're a parent, you know that your children need different things at different times. And we have to put our energy towards reparenting that need inside of us so that orphan child feels safe again. And that is what this beautiful Leo new moon total solar eclipse is saying. You have the ability to heal a very deep core lineage pattern and wound, and know that you are being guided. There's something bigger here. Look, this is like she's connecting to the solar eclipse itself, holding on with a little kite string and allowing that light to pour into you so that these wounds can finally see the light and get what it needs and release the anger and pain that we might have been holding on to for many, many, many years. The last thing that we have going on August 14th, 15th, the asteroid palace, which very much connects to your relationship to your father. So not just your mama wounds, but your daddy wounds. And we're going in retrograde, right? So palace energy is going retrograde for a little bit. And then Mercury at the same time, Mercury, what we talked about, right? The planet of communication, also our mental processing, is at the same place, conjunct the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is all about expansion. So whatever this is, whatever these mental patterns are being heightened. But Jupiter also brings a lot of light and a lot of good luck. So let's see what kind of opportunities that this Mercury-Jupiter conjunction is bringing to us. Okay. Now, I'm shuffling these. I promise you I am. Mama, ooh, we have her once again. So the funny thing is, this is a number 3. It's the Empress. We've pulled her 3 times now. So, hey, knock, knock, knock. Let's have some attention here. I'm also getting some planetary energy to this one. And we have a solar eclipse. So here's the moon. And it's kind of revolving around this earth and really nurturing us in a different way. In the present position, y'all, the Star card again. So we are getting a blessing. We are getting a blessing. If you are looking to get pregnant, this also might be a really good time for you. If you're looking for some fertile ground and you want to create a new opportunity for yourself, I'd start it this week, because I will tell you, we have some seeds of manifestation. You're being told to move forward with the ideas as long as they're aligned with love. With love, you guys. Just whatever you desire, put it on the table and say, I do this with love, whatever it is. I always say the 7 aspects: agape, ludos, xenophilia, storge, phileutia, eros, and pragma. These 7, I always say them like a mantra, because I align my energy frequency with these 7 aspects. Because if I know that I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what is going to show up. But as long as it's in alignment with love, I know it's for my highest, my greatest, and my most deepest good, because it's aligned with love. Love doesn't push out the challenges, but it gives you the strength on how to manage it and how to learn from it and how to grow from it. So the theme of this, here she is, here's where she was, here's where she's going, and here's this little tightrope. Sometimes it feels like this thin line to get from who we were to we are becoming. And in that middle piece, here she has this book. She's learning. She is getting her lessons, and her new ideas are like balloons that are lifting her up so she doesn't fall. So follow your ideas, follow your growth, follow your learning, and know that whatever you're desiring, as long as it is aligned with love, is going to bring you so much growth, so much knowledge, and so much, eventually, wisdom. And nobody can take that away from you. Okay, so this is a big week, and I hope that you trust yourself and you align with love. Don't forget to love yourself. Don't leave yourself out. Nurture yourself in the way that you desire others to nurture you. If you can't do it for yourself, how are you going to receive it? How are you going to trust it if it comes from another person? You won't. You'll reject it because you don't know it. It's unfamiliar. You have to do the foundational work of taking care of yourself first. Give it to yourself and you become that vibration, and you're going to attract the people that are going to give you reciprocity of love in return for the love that you give them. All right, everyone. I hope that finds you well. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you soon. Namaste.